if you love Bridgerton, add these period dramas to your watch list. They all deliver romance, drama, and stunning costumes. Number 1. Poldark. This is a British historical drama released between 2015 and 2019 based on the novel series of the same name. Ross Poldark returns to Cornwall after the American Revolutionary War to find his father dead and his love engaged to another. Determined to rebuild his life, he starts a new business, makes powerful enemies, and forms an unexpected romance. This is set between 1781 and 1801, and we have 5 seasons. I think it's quite underrated, maybe because it's not, or at least it wasn't, as easily available as other period dramas, unless you live in the UK, because I think this was the main issue. And it's a pity because, I don't know about you, but British series are my type of comfort show. And there aren't as many historical drama series that go on for that long, except a couple that I will mention in a bit. So it's nice to have something that is worth watching and that goes on for so long. Number 2. Sanditon. This is a British historical drama released between 2019 and 2023, and it's based on an unfinished manuscript by Jane Austen. Charlotte leaves her rural home for Sanditon, a quiet fishing village trying to become a seaside resort. There, she meets the ambitious Sydney Parker, whose plans for the town clash with her independent spirit. This is one of many Regency-era classics that we got from Jane Austen, except she only wrote a part of it and never finished it, and so even though I just watched the first season, I still have to catch up. You can tell that it doesn't flow as the other Jane Austen works do. And this is again quite tricky to find, which is probably why hardly anybody knows about it. If you have watched all seasons of Sanditon, are you satisfied, or do you think that you can tell that Jane Austen didn't write everything in this show? Let me know, but without spoilers, because I still need to watch it. Number 3. Belgravia. This is a British historical drama released in 2020, and it's based on the 2016 novel of the same name. The Trenchard family rises into London's elite society, but a long-buried secret from a past love affair threatens their newfound status. As the old aristocracy clashes with the ambitious nouveau riche, hidden truths begin to surface. The events set in motion by the Battle of Waterloo have lasting consequences. This is named after an affluent district in London, and just as I was planning this video, I realized that there is more to this, because I only watched 1 season, and then I realized that there's also Belgravia, the next chapter. So if I find it, I will watch it. But again, I don't know exactly why, but even among the period drama fans, or you know, all those channels about costumes and how historically accurate these shows are, even those don't mention Belgravia, Sanditon and Poldark as much. And now let's talk about a couple of really popular ones that are worth the hype. Number 4. Outlander. This is a historical fantasy drama, initially released in 2014 and still ongoing. It's based on the extremely popular book series of the same name. Claire, a World War II nurse, is mysteriously transported to 1743 Scotland, where her life is in danger. To survive, she marries Jamie Fraser, a brave Highland warrior, who becomes entangled in an epic rebellion. Torn between 2 worlds and 2 loves, she faces impossible choices. We've got 7 seasons so far, and I think I still have to catch up with the very last part, because they decided to release the 7th season in 2 parts. For some reason, I don't know. So I cannot tell you if it's finished yet, but I would say that for some people it went on for too long. For others, they can never get enough of this show, and I would recommend it to anybody who loves Scotland. For those who love reading steamy books, for instance, this is a good one as well. But it's also a great historical drama per se, because Yes, it's a fantasy, but there's literally one element of fantasy, and to be honest, I wish there was more. And a small warning, I think towards the end of the first season, so the last few episodes of the first season, there was several really traumatizing scenes that I simply had to skip because I wasn't able to watch them. It was way too much for me. So bear in mind that this show is not all romance, not at all, because I think there's just as much romance as violence. Now you've been warned. Number 5, Downton Abbey. This is a British historical drama released between 2010 and 2015, and I think it's the most popular on the entire list. In the early 20th century, the aristocratic Crawley family and their servants navigate a changing world. The Titanic disaster leaves the estate without a male heir, threatening its future. Amid shifting social norms, love, duty, and class, tensions shape their lives. Here, we not only have 6 seasons of the show, we also have 3 movies, and 2 have been released in the past, and the 3rd one is coming this year, which I didn't know until I prepared for this video. And personally, I think I still prefer the series on its own. Yes, the films are good, I just didn't find them necessary. And this show is brilliant in its acting, costumes, storytelling. It's just great. And if you miss Maggie Smith, her interpretation here is stellar. But honestly, the entire cast did an impressive job. And this is so popular that I doubt you missed it, but if for some reason you did, it's truly worth watching. Let me give you a couple of honorable mentions, simply because I think you have watched this already. You must have watched them, because if you love period dramas, there's no way you miss them. But just in case, the number 1 thing you should watch is Pride and Prejudice. You choose which adaptation. My favorite is the one with Keira Knightley from 2005. Then you should definitely watch Sense and Sensibility, but also Emma. And again, you have multiple adaptations of each of these stories. And even if you want to, you can watch Becoming Jane, which is about the author of all these stories. So these are all must watch. A bit more niche maybe is Persuasion, for instance. And if you are a Bridgerton fan, I think you would love My Lady Jane, which was released on Amazon Prime, and for some reason they cancelled it right away, but it had the exact same humor as Bridgerton. It was irreverent, it was funny, and there was some fantasy in it, which Bridgerton doesn't have. And even though they cancelled it, you can still read the book and enjoy the 1 season that we got. The rest of the list will be about movies I recommend you watch. Number 6, Far From the Madding Crowd. This is a British romantic drama from 2015, and it's an adaptation of the novel from 1874. In Victorian England, the independent and headstrong Bathsheba Everdeen catches the attention of 3 very different men. Gabriel Oak, a loyal sheep farmer, Frank Troy, a charming but reckless soldier, and William Bolwood, a wealthy bachelor, each seek her hand. As she navigates love and ambition, her choices shape all the futures. This one has beautiful scenery, stellar acting, and it's perfect for those who want some good old yearning. I love the protagonists. I wish there were more movies with Matthias Schoenaerts, and honestly I prefer him in this role rather than all those espionage, thriller, action movies or series that I watched him in. And this movie also has a fantastic soundtrack. Honestly, I happily rewatch it anytime I can, or if I'm looking for a comfort movie. Number 7, Belle. This is a British period drama from 2013 and it's loosely inspired by a 1779 painting. The biracial daughter of a British naval captain is raised by her aristocratic great-uncle in 18th century England. As she navigates society's racial and class prejudices, she becomes involved in the movement to abolish slavery. Her unique position challenges the norms of the time and influences a landmark legal case. This is an interesting take on a true story, and maybe I am biased because I am mixed myself, so I can identify in this character specifically. And we don't see as many stories about mixed people, especially not the protagonists, in which that is one of the key points in the plot. Belle could be worth watching simply to see something else within this genre that is not the exact same story told over and over again, because you still get the same kind of atmosphere, beautiful costumes, and so on. Number 8. The Young Victoria. This is a British period drama from 2009 based on the early life and reign of Queen Victoria and her marriage to Prince Albert. Teenage Queen Victoria faces political intrigue as her family tries to control her rule. Her mother pressures her to sign a regency order while her uncle plots a marriage to Prince Albert. As she asserts her independence, her love for Albert becomes a defining part of her reign. There are so many good movies in this subgenre in which we see a romanticized version of our reality, specifically about royalty, in which their lives might even be reinterpreted, so they don't need to be historically accurate, or biographies. So there are many more that I would recommend, but this came to mind because it's beautiful. And a little side note, in this subgenre specifically, I absolutely despise the more recent series about Sisi. I think it's called The Empress. I probably watched 2 or 3 episodes of the first season and I was disgusted. It's awful. And unfortunately for me, it's quite popular as well. So people will start looking at Sisi as this awful character that they are portraying in this show. But that's a personal thing because I grew up with other kinds of portrayals of Sisi. And she is dear to me, or rather, her story is dear to me because she used to live, or she lived for a while, in a castle in my hometown in Italy. And so it's as if they mistreated a character that I know a lot about, not a perfect human being and all that jazz, but I hated seeing this portrayal. But this is just my opinion. Number 9. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society. This is a historical romantic drama released in 2018 based on the 2008 novel of the same name. In 1946, a London writer exchanges letters with residents of Guernsey, an island once occupied by the Germans. Drawn by their stories, she visits and forms unexpected bonds with the community. As she uncovers a long-held secret, she learns the true impact of the war on their lives. We are getting closer to our time with these last 2 recommendations, and I found this movie enjoyable. It's just a cute little thing to watch. If you enjoy small town vibes, this is perfect. It's not a masterpiece, but if you're into this type of movie, you should check it out. Number 10. Atonement. This is a romantic war drama from 2007 and it's based on the 2001 novel of the same name. A young girl's false accusation tears apart the lives of her sister's lover and her sister. The lie leads to his wrongful imprisonment and separates the couple, with their futures uncertain. As World War II unfolds, the consequences of the deception continue to shape their fates. The story begins in the 1930s, and I think it's quite a popular story. Dare I say it's a masterpiece, and it's definitely darker than other recommendations I just gave you, but it has great storytelling, and this is where you see the famous green dress worn by Keira Knightley. This is heartbreaking as well, but it's definitely worth your time. Now that you know about this, check out my top 10 wholesome movies to watch when you need comfort. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.